In the depths of this bear market, the question keeps popping up. Are NFTs dead? Oh, hi Dave. I didn't realize you were here. Answer the question. Okay, well, it's easy for NFT insiders to dismiss this question as FUD, particularly since mainstream news parrots that line week after week. And it's also easy for outsiders to just assume that, yes, NFTs are dead, at last. And for them, it feels like a good riddance. They're wrong, we're still early. Well, I'm here to tell you both of these groups are wrong. Keep watching to find out why NFTs are dead and also thriving at the same time. Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Tenner, aka Swombat, and in these videos I use my 15 years of experience as a successful entrepreneur working with hundreds of tech startup founders to bring some clarity to Web3 and NFTs. Also, this video is sponsored by Zen Academy, which is Zeneka's community where he's gathering good people from all around the world to learn and succeed together. There's no exchange of money, but we get along well and we're both trying to help people understand NFTs better, so we decided why not talk about each other more. When I hear "Are NFTs dead?" my first thought is that yes, they probably are. Because usually when people ask that, if they're already in the NFT space, they are really asking a different question. Will there be another NFT bull market? And even if they are not into NFTs, what they mean by this question is,
will there be another period of NFT craze like 2021?
Oh, come on, I need one of those to get out of all those projects I bought. Sorry, Dave, and sorry to my own bags as well, but it's probably not going to happen. Of course, I don't know the future, but my sense is that a bull market euphoria like the one we saw in the summer of 2021 and to a lesser extent in January 2022 is never coming back. There are two angles to why I think so. One involves a simple look at history, and the second one an understanding of how narratives build up and crash down. Let's start with history. There's been bubbles in markets as long as there have been markets. Humans can't help but fall for the idea that they found a clever way to shortcut the game of life and go straight to the infinite money endgame. Tulips? Buy my tulips? If you want to be judgmental, you can call it greed, but I think it's just an essential part of the way the human psyche works in the world order that we've built. We love to be cleverer than the game, and the game of life is presented to many people as one with the goal of accumulating wealth. So people will keep falling for things that offer believable ways to skip straight to a win, just like they would for cheat codes in a difficult game. But if we look at history, humans don't seem to fall for the same thing over and over again. Each bubble is different. Once a euphoric mania has burst and come down to earth, enough of the people who fueled it are burnt out and cynical that they don't want to buy into the same thing again. You need a new generation of suckers to run a new bubble, and they want their own thing, so they go looking for easy money on new ground. PFP cartoon animal projects were an extremely effective springboard for making Ponzi's. They absolutely, undoubtedly resulted in a bubble over the last couple of years. They sucked hundreds of thousands of people in globally. A lot of those people lost a fair bit of money when the bubble burst. They won't fall for that again, just like we won't get another ICO bubble for similar reasons. There will for sure be another bout of market euphoria at some point, but it will be somewhere else. I've heard it's going to be Web3 gaming for sure. Maybe. I doubt it. Damn it. I bought all this land and these gaming items already. Yeah, and that's part of the problem. People have already been selling stuff in advance of the next big wave. It would be far too convenient if it turned out that so many people were right. I think it will come out of left field and be something few people would have expected. Maybe connected to a new innovation suddenly hitting the market and go through the same usual cycle again. So that's one bit of evidence against the return of the bull market euphoria. Another way to look at it is to think of all the NFT projects that rose to great heights and then fell back down to earth. Often people make the mistake of thinking the projects did well because they had a great narrative, but from what I can tell, that's putting the horse before the cart. Narrative follows price. The projects got a great narrative because the price was doing well. Now, in pretty much every case, the price was not doing well because the project was delivering some insane amounts of value worth paying tens of thousands of dollars for. Instead, it was because of all the usual Ponzinomics reasons. Limited supply, illiquidity, price manipulation mechanics like staking, influencer pumps, wash trading, and the desperate assumption that someone, or at least some force, is willing to pay a lot more for the same thing a little bit later. That price action, like all Ponzi's, is not sustainable. Eventually you run out of suckers with money, and then the price hits a wall, and then the narrative starts faltering because it was built on a premise of price going up and not much else. Fear enters people's hearts, they start selling and undercutting, the floor price starts sinking, and the narrative collapses even further. Eventually you get a typical chart of an NFT project that did well, with a big spike at the beginning and a long slow slide to zero. Shitcoins with pictures, eh? When this happens to a project, it's extremely rare for the price or the narrative to recover. Out of hundreds of projects to which this has happened, there are just a handful that have recovered from a death spiral. I think we can scale this up and apply this idea to the overall NFT market. As long as it had many projects pumping and people getting rich overnight, the narrative grew that NFTs, and in particular PFP projects, were the best thing to invest in for maximal returns. But now that narrative is pretty dead. Most of the starry-eyed folks who lost their shirts over the last couple of years are either gone or have turned into hardened cynics. They won't provide the tsunami of naivete that fueled the bubble. Not again. So I think it's extremely unlikely that we'll get back to anywhere near this sort of euphoric mania like we had last summer. The fuel has been spent. So that's it then. NFTs are over? Absolutely not. Those who think NFTs are dead and buried are even more wrong. First of all, even within the field of NFTs as a fundraising mechanism, which all those Ponzi projects were exploring, intentionally or not, I think it's very unlikely that the startup world will forget or ignore this powerful new way to raise funds and interact with customers. It won't be a euphoric bubble like last year, but I think we'll be seeing many legitimate projects raising funds via NFTs over the coming years, and eventually it will be as established a part of the funding landscape as VCs. It will look more like a long, steady grind rather than overnight riches though. More broadly, NFTs as a technology, far from being dead, are only getting started. Digital property will become an important feature of our lives, and that will be powered by NFTs. That won't involve so much speculation on price, but much more actual usefulness. There are a million different ways that NFTs will end up impacting our lives, and being blind to that, or assuming that Ponzi's and art are the only use cases for NFTs, won't help you adapt to the changing world. Luckily, I got a very useful transmission from a time traveler about what some of those might be, and I put it together in this video earlier. GM, and good luck.